Hello, it's Alex and welcome to Hey Little Thrifter. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the books I bought in November. I didn't really go out thrifting very much at all this month, so I only picked up 3 books from a Goodwill, and then the rest of the books I bought secondhand online. So the 3 books that I got from Goodwill, there was some kind of sale going on and I think they were 50 cents each, something like that, not very much anyway. And first up we have Night Show by Richard Lehman, and this is about a guy who is known for being a bit of a prankster, but he always goes too far. When he was at high school, he decided to lock one of the girls in a haunted house for the night, and he thought it was hilarious, but of course she didn't. And the story picks up in the present day, and it seems like she hasn't forgotten and she's out to get her revenge on him. I think this one is supposed to be pretty gory, so yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a go. And then I also was really pleased to find a couple of 90s YA horror books. I don't stumble upon these too often actually in thrift stores, so definitely had to pick them up when I saw them. And first up is Be Mine by Jane McFan, and this one is not one that was released in the Point Horror series in the UK. It came out in the same kind of series in the US, but we never actually got it in the UK, so this is one that I had to grab. I would love to collect all of the US editions of the Point Horror style books, but I just can't afford to go down that rabbit hole right now, so I kind of made an agreement with myself a while ago that I wouldn't do that. But part of the agreement that I made with myself in my head was that if I find any of the ones we didn't get released in the UK, then I'm allowed to get them. So this is one of them, and it looks brilliant. And then the next one I kind of bent the rules with a little bit, my own rules, I can make them up as I go along. It is Let Me Tell You How I Died by Sinclair Smith. The reason I allowed myself to get this one was because it was released in the UK under the Point Horror series, but it was under a different title. It was called The Diary, and so it had a completely different cover. So that's why I thought I was allowed to pick this one up too, and yeah, for as cheap as it was, I couldn't say no. The next lot of books that I bought were actually a job lot that I bought on eBay, and I was just kind of having a quick browse for horror paperbacks, and I saw a job lot, had a quick scan of the titles in there, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need this. It was only about $25 for the whole lot, and there were 20 odd books here, and there were a few that I was like, that's worth the price alone, so the rest of the books are kind of just a bonus. So the book that really drew me to this job lot and was kind of the main reason that I bought it is Wait and See by Ruby Jean Jensen. And her books are out of print, they're becoming really collectible, and this is a first printing from 1986. So I was just so excited to find this one for such a great price as well, and it's in such great condition. There are some, a little bit of wear to the edging, but the spine hasn't been cracked. It looks like it's maybe never been read. Yeah, I was just really over the moon to find this, and the artwork is absolutely amazing. And I think this is another revenge story about a woman who was drowned. And yeah, don't really know too much more about it than that. I just want to go into this, and I'm really excited about it. So the next few books were ones that I was also really excited about in this collection, one of them being Volume 3 of Clive Barker's Books of Blood. I have Volumes 1 and 2 in the same editions, so I was really pleased to find number 3. And another Clive Barker book is The Thief of Always, which I haven't read before, but I hear really great things about, so really pleased to have this one too. There's also a Ramsey Campbell novel, it is The Face That Must Die, and this one is about a serial killer, and yeah, definitely looking forward to reading this one. Another couple that I was really excited to be in this job lot were 2 volumes of the Guardians series by Peter Saxon, and these were originally published in the 1960s, and they were featured in paperbacks from hell. So yeah, the artwork for these is absolutely beautiful, and I think these are about a group of people who are like fighting against witchcraft and black magic and stuff. They sound really cheesy but really awesome, and yeah, I'm looking forward to giving these a go. Next up is Tricycle by Russell Rhodes. This was originally published in 1983. I mean, who could say no to a child on a tricycle with a skull face, really? And the tagline is, "When little Simon plays with fire, the game becomes a funeral pyre." Next up is Fear Book by John L. Byrne. This was originally published in 1988, and I'd never seen this before, never heard of it, but the cover made me think of the Point Horror series. Like, it looks like it would fit in here with one of these books. It's got like something creepy going on, it's got the metallic title, and then it's even got the tagline in like an italic font exactly like these. So I just thought that was really interesting to me, and it has a really cool cover with this opening up with the hand and the pages, so I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I don't really know too much about it. It doesn't have very many reviews on Goodreads, and they're not very good either, but I'd still like to give it a go one of these days and find out for myself. So the rest of the books in the job lot were kind of ones I just saw as a bonus, really. So first up is Necronomicon by Simon. This, of course, is the book of black magic that is referred to by H.P. Lovecraft, and really, what bookshelf would be complete without a copy of the Necronomicon? Next is The Lurker at the Threshold by H.P. Lovecraft, and I have not read this one, so I'm glad to have it. I have another book by Lovecraft, but it's a piece of non-fiction, and it is supernatural horror in literature, which looks really interesting. It's quite a slim volume, and it has a really freaky cover. Next up is The Hand of Dracula by Robert Laurie, and this is book 2 in the Dracula horror series. I believe this was a series that came out in the 70s, and yeah, maybe I have to track down book 1 first, I'm not sure. I've got a couple more vampire books. One of them is Hotel Transylvania by Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough, and this is a novel of erotic terror and forbidden love. So yeah, this one apparently is set in Paris, 1744. Next is Love in Vain 2, edited by Poppy Z. Bright. This is a collection of vampiric erotica short stories, and I actually had volume 1 when I was a teenager because I was really obsessed with vampires, and I don't remember too much about it honestly, and I don't have it anymore, but yeah, this might be fun. Next is The London Vampire Panic by Michael Romkey, and it looks like this is a vampire novel set in Victorian London. I've never heard of this author before, so let me know if you've read anything by him. Yeah, not sure what my interest level is, but we will see. Next is another collection of short stories. It is A Walk on the Dark Side, edited by John Pelan, and this was originally published in 2004. I've got The Skin Trade, which is a collection of stories by Stephen King, Dan Simmons and George R.R. Martin, so this looks quite interesting. And then finally we have a few Stephen King books. We've got Night Shift, which is a collection of short stories, and I do have another edition of this, but I much prefer this older version with this really awesome artwork. This copy is a bit battered, but I'm still pleased to have it. And another short story collection is Skeleton Crew, and I recently got a copy of this too from a library book sale, so yeah, it wasn't very much money, and I guess I'll have to compare the two and see which one I want to keep. And one more short story collection is Nightmares and Dreamscapes. I did have a copy of this when I was a teenager, but I never read all of them, so I'm pleased to have this one, and yeah, I really like the artwork on this one too. This one's a pretty thick one and the font is tiny, so yeah, that's probably why I never read the whole thing all those years ago. And then last up, I've got 2 books about Stephen King. One is The Life and Fiction of the Master of the Macabre, The Art of Darkness by Douglas E. Winter. And Kingdom of Fear, The World of Stephen King is 17 essays about Stephen King, edited by Tim Underwood and Chuck Miller. And yeah, I'd never actually heard about either of these books, so yeah, this was an interesting addition too. So those were all of the books I found in November. I'm really pleased to add these to my collection, and I now need to find some more space on my shelves and also find the time to read them, which is, yeah, the constant struggle. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if there are any you think I should pick up sooner rather than later. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!